For 27 years, the family of Tupac Shakur has been waiting for justice. We are here today to announce the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keefe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
The murder of Tupac Shakur, one of the most influential rap artists of all time, remains unsolved after more than 2 decades.
Experts say this latest investigation could shed new light on one of the biggest cold cases in modern pop culture history.
While many theories and suspects have been proposed, none have been proven beyond doubt. However, one man claims to have witnessed the fatal shooting and knows who was behind it. His name is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a former associate of the Southside Crips gang. Stay with us as we explore what Keefe D has to say as he reveals his version of the events that led to the tragic night of September 7, 1996, and the role that Diddy played in it. Keefe D's reaction. Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D, was a long-suspected figure in the tragic death of Tupac Shakur. Despite his alleged involvement being an open secret, he wasn't arrested for the murder until September 2023. Davis, a member of the Southside Crips, was on the police's radar shortly after the shooting. Over the years, he has openly confirmed his presence in the vehicle during the shooting, both in interviews and his own published memoir. In the wake of the 2018 BET series Death Row Chronicles, which featured Dwayne Keefe D. Davis's first public comments on the Tupac Shakur shooting, Las Vegas police re-examined the long unsolved case. While confirming it remained open, they later stated that Keefe D's media appearances and subsequent interviews, including those in his 2019 memoir Compton Street Legend, ultimately led to his arrest in September 2023. Lieutenant Jason Johansson, speaking at a press conference, highlighted the importance of this renewed investigation and the impact of Davis's admissions. It wasn't until 2018 that additional information, specifically Dwayne Davis's statements to various media outlets, came to light, giving life to the case again. The confiscated copy of Keefe D's memoir, co-authored with Yusuf Jah from his July 2023 house search, further fueled ongoing inquiries. While Keefe D has never admitted to shooting Tupac Shakur himself, authorities believe he played a crucial role in the events leading up to the rapper's death. On September 7, 1996, Keefe D, reportedly alongside his nephew Orlando Anderson, also known as Baby Lane, and 2 other Southside Crips members, allegedly pulled up next to a vehicle carrying Suge Knight and Tupac. Anderson, who passed away in 1998, had previously denied involvement, but was suspected to be the one who fired the shots. Authorities now claim Keefe D, known as the shot caller in this instance, orchestrated the entire plan. Despite his arrest in September 2023, Keefe D has remained silent on the matter and has not entered a plea. In a 2008 attempt to secure immunity in a separate case, Keefe D, then known as Dwayne Keith Davis, divulged details about the Tupac Shakur shooting to Los Angeles police. This confession, previously undisclosed, became public in 2011 through former detective Greg Kading's book Murder Rap, and was later echoed in an LA Weekly cover story. In an interesting turn of events, Keefe D implicated Sean Diddy Combs in Tupac Shakur's shooting, claiming Diddy had ordered the hit. Keefe D, whose claims were vehemently denied by Combs, alleged that Diddy's motive stemmed from a long-standing animosity with Suge Knight, fueled by Knight's public diss of the Bad Boy executive. According to Keefe D, the initial target was solely Knight, but Tupac became an additional target after releasing Hit 'Em Up, a diss track aimed at both Notorious B.I.G. and Bad Boy Records. Keefe D further claimed he negotiated a $1 million payment for eliminating both Tupac and Knight at Greenblatt's Deli, reportedly stating they would wipe out the targets quickly. However, Keefe D alleged that the Southside Crips never received the promised payment after Tupac's death. Facing terminal illness, Keefe D stepped forward in 2018 to share his version of what happened the night Tupac Shakur was shot. In the Netflix series, Unsolved, he declared that he was the only one alive who could really tell the story. He claimed he had nothing left to lose and only wanted the truth to be known. This marked the first time he publicly admitted to being in the car involved in the shooting, describing himself in the passenger seat with 3 other individuals, Terrence Brown, Orlando Anderson, and DeAndre Smith. Their journey, according to Keefe D, led them to Suge Knight's Club 662 in hopes of catching Tupac's performance. They left before Tupac arrived and fatefully crossed paths with him later as he leaned out of his car window. Keefe D asserted that if he had not leaned out the window, they would not have seen him. He further claims they made a U-turn and ended up at a traffic light side by side with Tupac. While he admitted being in the front seat and acknowledging Suge Knight's presence in the other car, Keefe D remained tight-lipped about the shooter's identity. He stated that he was going to keep it for the code of the streets. But what happened on the night of Tupac's murder? Attending the high-profile Bruce Seldon versus Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas with Suge Knight, Tupac Shakur unknowingly set the stage for a fateful encounter. It was within the opulent halls of the MGM Grand that sparks of tension were lit. Trayvon Lane, also known as Trey, Lee, an associate of Suge Knight and member of the Mobby Pyrus gang, crossed paths with Orlando Anderson, also known as Baby Lane of the rival Southside Compton Crips. This meeting held particular significance, as Anderson was allegedly involved in a robbery attempt on Lane just months prior, meaning there was bad blood between the two individuals and their respective gangs. The chance encounter within the supposedly neutral ground of a boxing match slyly cast a dark shadow over the night's events, setting the stage for a tragic confrontation that would reverberate throughout the music industry and beyond. Witness to an unsettling encounter, Trey alerted his friend Tupac Shakur of the presence of Baby Lane in the MGM Grand Lobby. Recognizing Anderson as a member of the rival Southside Compton Crips, tensions escalated quickly. Shakur, fueled by past conflict, possibly the attempted robbery in July, confronted Anderson directly. That interaction ended up in a physical fight. Shakur, joined by others in his entourage, delivered blows to Anderson before hotel security intervened, capturing the entire incident on video surveillance. This unexpected and violent exchange left a lasting mark, setting the stage for a chain of events that would forever alter the course of Tupac's life and the wider world of music. Shakur, shaken but resolute, continued his planned evening, leaving with Suge Knight to perform at a nearby club, oblivious to the potential consequences of the earlier confrontation. Following their departure from the MGM Grand, Shakur and Knight's night was briefly interrupted by Las Vegas police, who pulled them over for traffic violations. Despite the minor inconvenience of playing their music too loudly and missing license plates, they were released without citations. Their journey continued smoothly until they reached a stoplight at the intersection of East Flamingo Road and Koval Lane. As the night wore on, tension rose once again as a white Cadillac pulled alongside Shakur and Knight's car at a red light. A hail of gunfire erupted from the rear passenger window of the Cadillac, shattering the peace of the night. Shakur was struck 4 times and suffered critical injuries, while Knight sustained shrapnel wounds. In a desperate attempt to get Shakur medical attention, despite his injuries and a deflated tire, Suge Knight managed to drive them about a mile to Las Vegas Boulevard and Harmon Avenue. This turn of events placed them not far from the MGM Grand, where their eventful night had started. Fatefully, they were once again pulled over, this time by the bike patrol, who, upon realizing the seriousness of the situation, called for paramedics. With sirens wailing, the police and paramedics rushed both men to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada, their journey far from over. The gravity of the situation, with Shakur critically wounded, cast a stark contrast to the earlier car stereo violation that had briefly interrupted their evening. A frantic scene played out at the University Medical Center, where Shakur was rushed after the shooting. Gobi Rahimi, a music video director, reported threats made to Shakur by unknown individuals who contacted Death Row Records. While police were notified, their investigation seemed hampered by limited resources. Shakur, clinging to life, struggled in the throes of treatment, was heavily sedated, and placed on life support. A medically induced coma became necessary after attempts to keep him in bed. Amidst the uncertainty, Shakur's girlfriend, Kadada Jones, remained by his side, playing his favorite song, Vincent, in a desperate attempt to reach him. As Jones professed her love, Shakur reportedly moaned weakly, his condition dire. In the aftermath of the shooting, Suge Knight, treated for his shrapnel wounds, was released from the hospital the following day. His initial statement to authorities, claiming he heard something but saw nothing, offered no aid to their investigation. This, coupled with reported non-cooperation from Shakur's entourage, including his group, the Outlaws, presented significant hurdles for detectives seeking answers. Meanwhile, Shakur's condition remained critical, with fears of further danger necessitating a protective guard around him. Sadly, on September 13, 1996, Shakur lost his battle for life. Respiratory failure, a consequence of gunshot wounds and subsequent surgery, led to cardiac arrest.
I wish that my son was here and that he could go and lie down in my bed and come out of my room and say, "Mom, what'd you cook?"
Despite medical intervention, his mother ultimately made the heart-wrenching decision to withdraw life support. Shakur's death, at the young age of 25, left an indelible mark on the music industry and ignited a wave of grief and speculation that continues to this day, with the mystery of his shooting yet to be fully resolved. East Coast, West Coast beef. Tupac's murder happened against the backdrop of a bigger conflict that involved many prominent figures in the hip-hop industry. Let's explore the impact of the conflict on hip-hop. The vibrant world of hip-hop music, born on the streets of New York City, established the East Coast as the genre's early breeding ground. This initial dominance, however, created a complex dynamic. While East Coast artists thrived in their pioneering role, some developed a perception of their scene as the top of the chain, potentially leading to a sense of superiority. Meanwhile, West Coast artists, witnessing this this developing situation from afar may have grappled with feelings of being overshadowed, possibly harboring an inferiority complex. This geographic divide, however, would not define hip-hop's evolution. As the genre expanded and diversified, regional boundaries blurred, paving the way for a more collaborative and cross-cultural future in the world of hip-hop. By the late 1980s, West Coast hip-hop was growing strong, spearheaded by acts like NWA from Compton, California. On November 12, 1991, Bronx rapper Tim Dog dropped Penicillin on Wax, featuring skits mocking West Coast artists and a direct diss track targeting NWA member, notably Dr. Dre, titled Compton. Dr. Dre swiftly retaliated a year later on his debut solo album, The Chronic. While Tim Dog faded from the feud's later stages, his diss track foreshadowed ensuing conflicts. At the same time, Uncle Luke's In the Nude album, released the same year, also aimed at Dr. Dre, adding fuel to the fiery rap rivalries. In 1991, Suge Knight, a Compton, California native and member of the Bloods, joined forces with Dr. Dre, Dick Griffey, and the DOC to establish Death Row Records in Los Angeles. Knight, along with many others in the West Coast hip-hop scene, harbored frustration towards what they perceived as a dismissive attitude from the East Coast towards their music and culture. This simmering tension would eventually explode into a full-fledged East Coast-West Coast rap feud, with Death Row Records at the center of the West Coast movement. Down the road in 1993, Sean Combs, known then as Puff Daddy, a young and ambitious A&R executive and record producer, took a leap of faith and established Bad Boy Records, a record label focused on New York's burgeoning hip-hop scene. The following year, the label launched with a bang, thanks to the critically acclaimed and commercially successful debuts of two talented rappers, the Notorious B.I.G., a rising star from Brooklyn known for his raw storytelling, and Craig Mack, a Long Island rapper whose infectious single Flava in Your Ear quickly climbed the charts. These early triumphs set Bad Boy's position as a major player in the East Coast hip-hop landscape, paving the way for future success. Despite achieving initial success with two well-received albums and roles in 3 films, Tupac Shakur, the New York-born rapper and actor who had made California his home, found his career hanging in the balance by 1994. Financial struggles compounded his woes, as did a serious legal battle in New York City, where he faced charges of sexual abuse, sodomy, and weapons possession. These challenges cast a long shadow over his promising career trajectory. Towards the end of 1994, Tupac Shakur, also known as Tupac, at only 23, appeared destined to be hip-hop's brightest star. His charisma and undeniable talent were coupled with a captivating duality. He could seamlessly shift between an introspective poet, a passionate revolutionary, and even a character embodying the thug life he often rapped about. His burgeoning film career included roles alongside A-listers like Janet Jackson, and rumors even linked him romantically to Madonna. The weight of legal troubles hung heavy on Tupac Shakur's shoulders as November 29, 1994 dawned. Facing potential years in prison for charges of sexual assault, sodomy, and weapon possession, his career already felt the sting. Lost movie roles and a TV guest spot added to his woes, and mounting legal fees gnawed at his finances. Desperate for a lifeline, Tupac spent his evenings hustling between recording studios, hoping to rap his way out of financial quicksand. Collaborating with Little Sean on that day at Quad Recording Studios in Times Square, the bustling studio saw other artists like SWV, Mobb Deep, and Deborah Cox working their craft that night. Interestingly, the same studio also hosted Junior Mafia, the rap group founded by Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G. alongside Biggie, was Sean Puffy Combs, the head of his record label. The seemingly innocuous studio session would unknowingly set the stage for a fateful encounter with far-reaching consequences. The sound of greetings met Tupac Shakur as he arrived at Quad Studios, the source coming from members of Junior Mafia, a Brooklyn rap group affiliated with the rival Bad Boy Records. But the jovial atmosphere abruptly vanished as 2 armed assailants stormed the lobby, barking orders to everyone to lie down. In the ensuing chaos, Tupac, caught off guard by the sudden violence, hesitated. This momentary delay proved costly as he was shot 5 times and his belongings stolen. As paramedics rushed him out on a stretcher, a defiant Tupac, fueled by pain and confusion, directed a middle finger toward Biggie and other Bad Boy associates who were reportedly present during the incident. Tupac Shakur's world took a devastating turn as the very next day, he was convicted of sexual abuse. This blow came on the heels of the brutal shooting at Quad Studios, further fueling his anger and desperation. In a bombshell interview with Kevin Powell of Vibe magazine, Tupac cast suspicion on Biggie, Puff Daddy, and Andre Harrell, head of Uptown Records, implicating them in the orchestration of of the attack. Surprisingly, between the interview and its publication, a twist occurred. Puff Daddy himself paid Tupac a visit at Rikers Island, strongly denying any involvement on the part of Bad Boy Records. The simmering tension between Tupac and Biggie reached a boiling point in February 1995 with the release of Who Shot Ya? Though intended as a B-side track for Biggie's Big Papa single, the song's eerily relevant title and lyrics, released just months after Tupac's shooting, ignited controversy. While Biggie and his associates, including Puff Daddy, vehemently denied any connection to the attack and claimed the song predated the incident, Tupac saw it as a blatant provocation, a cruel taunt referencing his own brush with death. The already tense atmosphere surrounding the East Coast-West Coast rap feud thickened further at the 1995 Source Awards held in New York City. Suge Knight, co-founder of Death Row Records, took the stage and aimed a verbal jab at Puff Daddy, head of Bad Boy Records. In a thinly veiled attack, Knight declared that any artist who doesn't want to deal with the executive producer dancing in their videos should come to Death Row. This statement, a clear reference to Puff Daddy's frequent appearances in his artists' music videos and his own ad-libs in their songs, landed with a thud. The New York audience, heavily biased towards their scene, responded with a chorus of boos, interpreting Knight's words as a direct insult to the entire East Coast hip-hop scene. September 1995 brought another layer of tragedy to the burgeoning East Coast-West Coast feud. At a birthday party in Atlanta, a violent altercation erupted between Suge Knight and Puff Daddy's entourages outside the club. The incident ended with the fatal shooting of Jai Big Jake Robles, a close associate of Knight and Death Row Records. Knight, quick to point fingers, accused Combs of involvement, further fueling the flames of animosity. In a dramatic show of support, Knight secured Tupac's release from prison just weeks later, personally flying to retrieve him and posting his hefty bond. This act cemented their alliance and reignited Tupac's fire. In a flurry of tracks released between late 1995 and 1996, Tupac unleashed a scathing offensive, launching insults and threats aimed at Biggie, Bad Boy Records, and its affiliates. Songs like Against All Odds, Bomb First, My Second Reply, and the infamous Hit 'Em Up became potent weapons in the escalating war of words. As the East Coast-West Coast rap feud raged on, another unexpected layer of complexity emerged in October 1995. Tupac at a party crossed paths with Biggie's estranged wife, Faith Evans, a singer signed to Bad Boy Records. They reportedly struck a deal, with Tupac offering Evans $250,000 to contribute vocals to one of his tracks. However, Evans later claimed that after completing her part, Tupac demanded sexual favors in exchange for payment, which she refused. While Evans maintained she had no romantic or sexual involvement with Tupac, Suge Knight and Tupac himself took a different approach. In January 1996, they alluded to an intimate relationship between Evans and Tupac in an interview with the New York Times, implying an exchange of gifts and sexual favors between them. News of the interview reached Biggie, igniting fury and prompting a public confrontation with Evans, though he later attempted to dismiss it as a joke. Tupac, however, capitalized on the situation, using it as ammunition in his lyrical warfare. In the song Hit 'Em Up, he launched personal attacks on Biggie, explicitly claiming to have slept with his wife.
Near fatal shooting, but he couldn't survive a second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25.
The simmering feud between Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. reached a tragic climax on September 7, 1996. While leaving a boxing match in Las Vegas, Tupac was gunned down in a drive-by shooting, and 6 days later, he succumbed to his injuries. About the people involved. Born Lassane Parish Crooks on June 16, 1971, Tupac Amaru Shakur, or Tupac as he was known to the world, rose to become one of hip-hop's most influential and commercially successful figures. With a career tragically cut short at the young age of 25, he left behind a legacy of powerful music that resonated deeply with audiences facing the harsh realities of inner-city life. Shakur's lyrics, often tackling social issues and personal struggles, earned him widespread recognition and fixed his place as a cultural icon. His impact continues to be felt today, with his music inspiring and influencing countless artists across generations. Born into a life of activism in New York City, Tupac Shakur was shaped by the struggles and ideals of his parents, both members of the Black Panther Party. His formative years were split between Baltimore and the San Francisco Bay Area, fostering a diverse perspective that would later infuse his music. 1991 marked a turning point with the release of Tupacalypse Now, an album that established him as a prominent voice in West Coast hip-hop, tackling social issues with raw honesty through self-conscious rap lyrics. His subsequent albums solidified his critical and commercial success, pushing boundaries and evolving his style. He went from introspective reflection to the powerful, often controversial gangster rap exemplified by All Eyes on Me, a work that remains a landmark double-length album in hip-hop history. Beyond music, Shakur's talents extended to the silver screen, with starring roles in films like Juice and Poetic Justice, further solidified his cultural influence. However, his vibrant and impactful life would be tragically cut short, leaving behind an enduring legacy in both music and film. The latter part of Tupac Shakur's life was marked by a series of devastating events that ultimately contributed to his tragic end. In a harrowing turn of events, Shakur was viciously attacked in 1994, surviving 5 gunshot wounds inflicted in the lobby of a New York recording studio. Despite this setback, legal troubles continued to plague him. He faced a conviction for sexual abuse and served 11 months in prison before being released in 1995 pending an appeal. Upon his release, Tupac delved deeper into the infamous East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry, aligning himself with Death Row Records and its CEO, the notorious Suge Knight. This shift in alliances intensified existing tensions and played a role in the events that led to his fatal shooting. On September 7, 1996, in Las Vegas, an unknown assailant fired 4 shots at Tupac in a drive-by shooting, leading to his untimely death 6 days later. His shocking murder, followed by the assassination of his rival, the notorious B.I.G., in a similar drive-by shooting just 6 months later, cast a haunting shadow over the hip-hop world and cemented the enduring consequences of the feud. Despite his untimely death, Tupac Shakur's influence remains undeniable. His posthumously released album, Greatest Hits, showcased his most iconic work, earning a coveted diamond certification from the RIAA, a distinction achieved by an elite group of artists, securing his status as a hip-hop legend. The years following his death saw the release of 5 additional albums, all reaching platinum status, including the critically acclaimed The Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory, which was released under his alias, Machiavelli. Cementing his legacy, Shakur was honored with posthumous inductions into both the Hip Hop Hall of Fame in 2002 and the prestigious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017 during his first year of eligibility. These accolades, alongside his recognition as one of Rolling Stone magazine's 100 greatest artists of all time, are a testament to his enduring influence. Most recently, in 2023, Tupac Shakur was awarded a star on the iconic Hollywood Walk of Fame, forever immortalizing his remarkable legacy in the records of entertainment history. Dwayne Keith Davis, also known as Keefe D, has become a central figure in a case that has haunted the music world for decades, the unsolved murder of Tupac Shakur. Davis, who claims to have been friends with NWA's Eazy-E, insists he was present when Shakur was fatally shot in 1996. While authorities initially named Davis and another individual as suspects, the investigation stalled until September 2023, when Davis was arrested and charged with involvement in Shakur's death. Keefe D was born in 1963 and grew up in the city of Compton. He was reportedly involved with the Southside Compton Crips gang. He also had connections to figures like Suge Knight, having played football with him in their youth. In September 2023, after years of speculation and investigation, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police arrested Davis, linking him to Shakur's 1996 murder. Before the arrest, police searched a house owned by Davis's wife, suggesting they were seeking evidence connected to the case. Davis has pleaded not guilty to the murder charges. His trial is scheduled to begin in June 2024, after a recent court decision granted him conditional release on house arrest due to concerns about witness intimidation. Whether this development will impact the trial's outcome and finally bring closure to the Tupac Shakur case remains to be seen. November 4th, 1969, saw the birth of Sean John Combs. Born and raised in Harlem, New York, Combs, known by various stage names including Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, and Diddy, carved a multifaceted path in the entertainment industry. He initially honed his skills as a talent director at Uptown Records before venturing out to establish his own record label, Bad Boy Records, in 1993. This label proved to be a launching pad for numerous successful artists, with Combs not only serving as their record executive, but also as a producer, helping cultivate the careers of iconic figures like the notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, and Usher. His influence extended beyond music production, as he actively nurtured and shaped the artistic journeys of these talented individuals. Venturing beyond the realm of record executive and producer, Puff Daddy forged a path as a successful recording artist. His debut album, No Way Out, released in 1997, resonated with audiences, achieving a coveted 7 times platinum certification. This success was followed by a string of albums including Forever in 1999, The Saga Continues in 2001, and Press Play in 2006, solidifying his place in the music industry. Never one to rest on his successes, Combs continued to evolve, forming the musical group Diddy Dirty Money in 2009 alongside vocalist Kalena Harper and Dawn Richard. Together, they released Last Train to Paris, showcasing his collaborative spirit and artistic versatility. versatility. Most recently, in September 2023, Combs released his 5th studio album, the Love Album Off the Grid, demonstrating his enduring presence and creative spirit in the ever-evolving landscape of music. Beyond his musical prowess, Diddy has established himself as a multifaceted entrepreneur with a keen business sense. His diverse ventures span various industries. He has been recognized with 3 Grammy Awards and 2 MTV Video Music Awards for his musical contributions, and even produced the popular reality show Making the Band. In the fashion world, Combs launched his own clothing line, Sean John, in 1998, receiving critical acclaim, including a coveted Menswear Designer of the Year award from the Council of Fashion Designers of America. Additionally, he has leveraged his influence through brand partnerships like being the face of Ciroc Vodka and co-founding the media platform Revolt, encompassing a television network and news website. As of 2022, his entrepreneurial endeavors have contributed significantly to his estimated net worth of $1 billion, solidifying his position as a powerful figure not only in the music industry, but also in the broader business landscape. The latter part of 2023 proved tumultuous for Diddy as he faced a series of damaging legal battles. His former girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, filed a multi-million-dollar sexual assault lawsuit against him, which was later settled. This initial lawsuit triggered a wave of additional accusations, with 3 more individuals filing suits alleging sexual violence from as early as 1990 up to 2003. These serious allegations had severe repercussions for Diddy. His reputation was tarnished, leading several companies and previous collaborators to publicly sever all business ties with him. The full extent of the consequences, both personal and professional, remains to be seen as this situation unfolds. The mystery may not yet be over, but it finally seems Tupac's family, friends, and fans may be getting more answers about who killed the beloved star. Do you think it was Diddy? Tell us in the comments section. Also, for other captivating videos, click on one of the cards appearing on your screen right now.